This is second video on how to overcome fear of spoken English. We have been teaching English language from first standard. Some of our students study in Marathi medium, but they can't speak spoken English. Some of our students studied in English medium. They too can't speak English. But surprisingly, the students who studied in English medium can speak Hindi very well. Now we find that syllabus is changed, examination pattern is changed, but we are not happy with the performance of our students. Our students are poor in English. They are shy, so we should motivate them. They are not bold. They should try for spoken English. And should we try for new teaching learning experience? The students are not ambitious, so we should motivate them. The students should give up their shyness, nervousness, and fear also. So we should try to set their goals. And my friend, Mr. Nitin Matthew, he is a trainer in IBM Hyderabad. I requested him to talk on fear.
Hi, I'm Nathan Matthew, and I work for IBM in Hyderabad. Today I'm going to talk about fear. What is fear? Fear is an important emotion. In fact, it is so important that you won't be able to survive if you don't have fear. Because fear is an ingrained instinct that every living being has on earth. A lot of people take fear negatively, but if you look at the positives, it is an important aspect to survive. If you're on the edge of the cliff, you are going to step back because you have a fear of falling down. That is fear. It comes naturally. So to some extent, yes, fear is important for survival. But in today's competitive world, how much of fear should you take in? You have to draw the line. And why is it important? Because in this competitive world, if fear is going to override your persona, you are going to fall back. You won't tend to improve on a lot of things. You won't be able to progress. You will start getting back behind. You will start sliding backwards. So in order to overcome fear, there are a few things that I'm going to discuss today. One is awareness. Awareness? Yes. One of the main aspects of fear is because you don't know things. You're very uncertain of what would happen. But the moment you are aware of certain things, that is when you would get to know that, okay, I can do this. Oh, this is good. For example, you are on a show in a singing competition and you're just a bathroom singer. Okay? And you have all these singers, competitors with you. You go on stage and you sing and you bag a prize. That is when you start becoming aware, oh, okay, I was a better singer than those guys. So that awareness brings out the fear. Before you had the fear of going on stage and singing, whether you were apt, whether you're competitive enough to sing. So that awareness makes you become fearless. I'll give you another example. For example, catching a snake. You don't know the behavior of a snake, and that is why you're going to run away. But if you see the snake charmers, they know each and every behavior of the snake. And they play with snakes. Why? The fear is gone. Because they're aware of it. They've studied things. So awareness is a very important thing that you have to be to overcome fear. The second thing that I'm going to discuss about is how to overcome fear is your perspective. If you have a good perspective, yes, it's important. But if that perspective is going to shell you and going to keep you enclosed, then it's a problem. For example, you're invited to the minister's conference, and you really don't know why you're called. But then suddenly you realize that, okay, that you have some talent and that is why they've called you. Having that realization is important, and that is when you start becoming aware. But first, initially, you're just having perspective that what am I going to do in these people where all the VIPs are around you? What am I going to say? What am I going to talk? So you're just in a perspective that I'm just a small guy and how am I going to talk to people? Okay? But the moment the person who's invited you comes to facilitate you, that is when you realize, okay, you have a different perspective, you have a different stature in the crowd, and that is why you've called you. So your perspective changes. If you have a different perspective, that is when you realize where you stand in society. That is why I said if you are in a perception, it's very difficult to come out of the shell. You need to have perspective. How do you have perspective? By getting feedback, by looking at yourself from a third person's view. If you're being in a perspective atmosphere, you would get to learn things better about yourself and how you can improve. But if you're in a perception, you're in that shell, and you won't be able to look beyond. So it is important to know your perspective from a different angle so that you can improve. The moment you have a better perspective, you would be able to grow, and that will overcome your fear. The next thing that I want to discuss is about your focus. Now, if you tend to lose focus, naturally while you're speaking, the focus starts acting negatively. You start drifting your focus and you start focusing on, okay, now I've made an error, and you're not talking to whatever you want to say. Nervousness starts creeping in and you tend to lose your focus. For example, once again, when you go in for an interview, the interviewer keeps asking you a question and you're mostly thinking about whether I get the job, as I said before. So your focus is more rather on getting the job rather than answering the person's question to the point. And the moment you goof up on giving the appropriate answer, that is when nervousness starts creeping in and you lose your focus. So it's nervousness, that is the next thing that I'm going to talk about. Nervousness, yes. Because the fact when you know that you're nervous while you're speaking, it makes you even more nervous. And then you start getting mind blocks. You get tongue-tied. Your voice becomes low. There are a lot of physical attributes when you know a person is nervous. He starts fidgeting with his fingers. He starts shaking his legs. These are signs of nervousness, of physical attributes of nervousness. There's this famous saying, nervousness makes you nervous, and the fact when you know you're nervous makes you even more nervous. So you have to get out of this nervousness. How do you get out of nervousness? One of the best ways of coming out of nervousness is becoming aggressive. Now, it may sound weird, but this is what psychology says. If you see the sports people, if you see boxers, when they're losing when they're losing out on a game, have you seen their coaches of how they pep up the contestants? They would say, "Come on, man, go for it, kill him." They bring out the aggression from the contestant, from the competitors. And that is where they overcome their nervousness. They overcome their fear, and they go all out. When you're going for an interview and you're very nervous, I would suggest Go in a small corner, bring out aggression. How do you bring out aggression? Now, you're not going to bring out aggression in front of the interview. Oh, damn, come on. Go in a quiet corner and bring out aggression. What are the physical attributes of aggression? If you notice, it's clenching your fists, biting your teeth. Yeah? Definitely to overcome nervousness, they say deep breathing. Why deep breathing? Because there's a lot of blood flow that goes into your brain and tries to soothe you. But sometimes nervousness overrides even that. So the best way of overcoming nervousness is bringing out aggression by clenching your fists, biting your teeth. Go in a small corner, clench your fists, bite your teeth, and then go. It does work. I was an athlete, and we had this German coach in Pune, Father Ost. He was a Munich Olympics participant, and he told us how to overcome nervousness. So you have to bring out aggression, and if you see these athletes, they bring out aggression to overcome their nervousness. I would say, guys, bring out the aggression if you're nervous, and it would overcome your fear. So, as I said, nervousness becomes, if you're nervous, you become more nervous and you goof up. So you have to be confident. And I end this with another saying. Confidence makes you confident. And the fact when you know you're confident makes you even more confident. That's the way you can overcome nervousness. That's the way you can overcome fear. Fearless. Okay. Know, be aware, have a good perspective, okay, and be confident. I'm sure you would be able to gain confidence and overcome your fears. Thank you so much.